Hello, I'm Cheyenne.
And I'm Frankie.
And this is Conbini Cult. Welcome to another episode. How are you today, Frankie?
Well, I am sleepy.
Yeah?
I mean, it doesn't matter if it's 10 a.m. or if it's 1 p.m.
Yeah, always sleepy. Yeah.
But you know what? So, okay, the day we're recording this, it's probably going to come out in January sometime. But it's December 22nd right now.
Yes.
So I am done with my work trips for the year. Ooh. So, excited to be home. But, you know, the work doesn't stop. I have a lot of editing to do now. But I'm excited to just, because it's so cold now.
Yeah, it's cold. It's really hard to get out of bed and really do anything outside. So
I'm excited to just like curl up with the blankets and drink hot drinks all day at home.
That's nice. Yeah. And Frankie does like all of the editing for, you know, her own personal work and for the podcast. So I really appreciate, you know, you editing on top of your other editing. So thank you.
I think I was telling you before. So the podcast, like, of course, it's a fun project for us, but it has become I like to call it productive procrastination.
Nice.
So to avoid my client work, I'm like, what if I just edit the podcast?
right. And again, it's very productive. So I appreciate it. You told me that the other day and I was like, oh, well, I'm not complaining. I was like, awesome. Thank you. Yeah. So from our last conversation, we talked a lot about like Christmas and stuff. And today is it December 22nd already?
22nd.
3rd? 2nd?
Yeah.
Christmas is around the corner.
Yeah, we did a Christmas episode before, but I think on that episode I said like, oh yeah, right after this I'm going to go home, I'm going to put up the tree.
Oh yeah, I said the same thing. Did you?
I didn't.
Yeah, me neither. Oh, did you put up your tree at all yet?
No, like I've had so many deadlines and like I just couldn't prioritize the tree and now I'm like, well, Christmas is in like 3 days. Should I bother?
You should.
Maybe I'll just decorate a little bit.
It's because you said all of your work trips and stuff are done, you know, so now you can like enjoy your time at home. At least edit in front of the tree. I don't know, that's always nice. Okay. But I just put mine up a couple days ago too, and it's, you know, maybe less than a week, I'll have it up until, you know, official Christmas Day. And I plan to just keep it up until after New Year's and stuff. How long did you keep it up back home if you did a tree back home?
Maybe, well, definitely after New Year's, but probably maybe before January 15th or something.
Yeah, is there like a cutoff date for that? Like an unspoken rule of like when you should take down your lights and stuff or take down your tree?
But I think there's an unspoken rule about in Japan, like decorating for Oshogatsu for the New Year. Oh. Like, you can't keep the stuff up too long or it's bad luck.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and but I would have to double check. I think it's like 10 days or something, but I could be wrong. Look that up later.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, because, I mean, I can't even remember when I was a kid, like how long we kept up the stuff. I assume after New Year's, all of it was down already. My dad was pretty, like, on top of that, but in the past years, like me living, you know, with my partner, like, or on my own, I'm so lazy to put it up that, like, by the time the tree is up, it's so near Christmas, right? And I don't want to, like, take it down immediately.
Yeah, don't waste it.
Yeah. So I am guilty of, like, keeping it up till, I don't know, late January, sometimes February.
Before Valentine's Day, maybe?
Yeah, that could be, like, the unofficial cutoff, maybe. Yeah. But,
So. I mean, who cares? Do it when you have time.
Yeah, it's like I use the same fake tree. Sorry, this is like we talked about Christmas already, but I use the same fake tree. And I didn't realize, like, I don't know, as an adult, how much work it is. It's not even that hard, like, because my tree is not big or anything. But I'm like, wow, what a pain it is to lug it out of storage. And so the thought of putting it back is, like, not fun for me. So I'm kind of delaying that as much as I can. Yeah. But I hope you have a good Christmas. This is our last time recording this year then.
Yes.
Probably, Yes. Yeah, so we got to make the best of it, I guess. Yeah. See you in 2025.
Oh my gosh. I'm not ready for 2020. I guess I'm ready.
Me neither.
But it's just, December flew by. It feels like November to me.
Does it? Yeah. It definitely doesn't. It feels like December, but it doesn't feel like that means the year is ending for me, if that makes sense. I'm like, it's December, but what do you mean? Like, next year is coming. I forgot. Yeah. December was the last year of the month. You know?
Month of the year?
Yes. What? Last month of the year? Yes, yeah. So maybe I do need to take a holiday or something. The week before.
Everybody needs a break.
For sure. I think it's kind of like universal no matter what job you do. The week before Christmas or like the end of the year holidays is like so insane. It's so chaotic.
Yes. Trying to get everything done before people go on break.
So.
I have, so one of my clients is in Europe and the main person of contact that I have, she started her winter break on like December 4th.
Ina.
Yeah, but like I didn't get a warning. She was like, oh, by the way, like send this to whoever because I'm going on holiday from tonight. Bye.
Is that her personally or is that just like a Europe? Because I know, vacation time is a lot longer and a lot different than, in Europe, right? So is that just something they all got, like winter holidays?
No, maybe she just took extra days off.
From the 4th is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm jealous.
Yeah, that must be nice. But I don't know. I say that as like I have control of my schedule. So I'm like, oh, it must be nice. But literally, like I could just stop accepting like so many jobs. But it's fine.
I'm working not on Christmas Day. My day off like just coincidentally coincides with Christmas Day. But I am working on Christmas Eve. And until the 28th is my last day. So kind of creeping up on New Year's. And we talked about this in the Christmas episode, I think. But I've gotten really used to working on these holidays. I feel like when I first got here, I was like, what do you mean? Like, how could you? But it is what it is. Especially being away from family. It's not like I have anything to do. It sounds so depressing, but like, it's not like there's anything major going on. My partner also works. So it's like, whatever, another day. Yeah.
But what about for New Year's? Were you guys able to get Shinkansen tickets?
Probably not. I'm not hopeful because do you know what the situation is like on that? I saw the news and I assume it's like only limited to reserved seats at this point or like, or sorry, if you wanted reserved seats, you probably had to book it way in advance. And I assume all of those are gone. So it's either like jiyuuseki, like self-seating, and you kind of just have to wait until there's a train that has enough seats.
Yeah, you might have to stand.
Yeah, or just stand. And, if I get there, I get there. That's fine. That's my fault for, like, not booking it in advance. But, yeah, we definitely did not book anything. Okay. So we're just winging it.
But did you check, like, overnight buses? I mean, they might be sold out, too, but you never know.
Yeah. How do you like the overnight bus? Have you ever taken one before?
I've taken them twice.
Yeah.
I can't say that I like them, but it is a good like budget travel option.
It is good, because what are they like from Osaka or like Kyoto to Tokyo, for example? Like 4,000 yen, 4,000 yen, 5,000 yen?
It depends on the time of year. I think for New Year's, it's probably going to be over Ichiman, over like 10,000 yen.
Oh, and if that's the case, then I might as well just splurge on a Shinkansen ticket. You know?
But what if you have, I guess standing for 2.5 hours is a little better
than like sitting on the bus for 8. Yeah, I don't know.
And there's probably traffic.
Yeah. I've taken it once, like when my partner and I were first dating. So 4 years ago maybe, and we went on a trip from Tokyo to Kyoto, and we did that overnight bus. And at the time it was like great because we were young, we were younger, my knees weren't as bad or my back, and so it was like a great budget friendly trip for us. We didn't mind it at all. But thinking about doing that now, I'm gonna sound like so old. I'm not old at all, but like it just sounds painful to like sit on the bus for that long. And then because you arrive, it's a night bus obviously, so you arrive like really super early morning, which is like maybe good because then you have the whole day to like do stuff if you're awake and not dead at that point. But or you could be really tired.
Didn't sleep well, a lot of things aren't open yet.
That's true.
But it is it's good that it's an option because also you save on transportation and then you don't have to pay for a hotel for that night, so like it does save you a lot of money.
That is true. Maybe I'll bring that up, especially if we can't like really find a Shinkansen ticket by that point. But he's working I think until December 30th, and then it's from the 31st he has a break. It sucks.
The 30th is a Monday, right?
And it technically, so I think nationally, when is the New Year holiday in Japan? Like in general, usually most businesses close from December 29th till January 3rd. And then they go back in operation from the 4th. That's how my company is as well. But so that's when my break is, from the 29th. But his job, he kind of works in a field where there's no breaks any time of the year. So he has to be on the clock until the 30th, at least in his case. And
well,
then
at least
from the
he
31st,
gets New Year's then.
Yeah. So we'll get like New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, and then a couple days after that. So he gets like the 31st until January 6th, I think. So it's a little like shifted over.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's nice.
So he gets a break as well.
Yeah.
It sucks. But better than a couple years ago when he worked on Christmas Eve. Or not Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve. Yeah. So I don't know. I'll take what I can get, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
But the topic for today...
Yeah.
So it's a little different, I think, than usual. We've been going...
A little lighthearted?
Yeah. It's going to be not as
before
intense.
this, we'll have the declining birth rate and aging population and... What else was... Oh, the housing crisis, too.
Crisis.
So 2 very serious topics.
Yeah. And then I got into... what did I talk about? Like comedy in Japan, like Japanese comedy and pranks.
Pranks.
Which kind of really like bleeds over into maybe bullying, and harassment. And then we did a really big deep dive on nasubi. So please check that one out.
Yep.
So in comparison to those topics, the one I brought for today, it's a little lighthearted. The general theme I have right now, haven't decided yet, it's called The Elderly in Japan. Why are they so genki? Like, why are they so energetic? And the reason I brought this up, I kind of just started thinking about them when we talked about this overpopulation or the aging population. And I was just kind of thinking about, like what do the older people do in Japan? And how is it different than, in our experience from the US, like what is it like in retirement for Westerners or for Americans versus Japanese people? But before we get into that, I brought a disclaimer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So my disclaimer is, we're not going to be doing a deep dive specifically on, the pension and the welfare system in Japan.
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet, but like for today, We're going to keep it lighthearted. And we're not going to talk about, how all of that stuff affects the benefits that the elderly receive after retirement. I just wanted to do a little fun compare and contrast segment on the treatment and like attitude towards aging in Japan and the lifestyle that the Japanese elderly, have versus in the US or versus in the West. So mostly talking about like recreational activities or like daycare services and things like that. So...
Okay.
Very, very lighthearted.
All right.
Yeah. And we have some words of the day. I can read because I won't be saying them a lot in here, but if they come up, I'll say the Japanese. Frankie can read the English.
Okay.
So the first word we have is a roujinhōmu.
It's an elderly home.
Yeah. If you ever heard of that. Another one is a kaigoshisetsu.
Nursing care facility? So those are different?
Yeah, in my mind, like, I thought, I feel like they're the same, basically. Like, I don't know what the difference between because what do we call it in English? Like an old folks home?
Nursing home.
A nursing home, right? It's 2 of those. I assume, like, roujinhōmu, I assume there's, like, care involved as well, like nursing care.
Maybe like a retirement home community
like,
or something?
Yeah, like people who live in there. Sorry, I don't know like too much about the difference, but like my image based on like the kanji and just their definitions is like the, people in retirement who are still like able to like have freedom to like walk around. It's like an apartment, like a senior home, like an apartment complex where they all kind of live and coexist. And there's activities. Maybe they have care around the clock as well, but they kind of leave and come as they go. They just live there in a community of older people.
Maybe a retirement community.
Yeah. Versus a kaigoshisetsu is really like, so the kanji is like nursing facility. So this one is really, I would say like even for the much older,
so ones who
retired
need
people,
more
care,
medical care.
Yeah. So there's probably like nursing staff on the clock, or if a lot of them maybe they need assistance like walking, or a lot of them need wheelchair access, or they take medication, or they require certain medical care and stuff, I feel like that one is more specific for like medical needs. And then the last one we have is a day service.
Day service.
Yeah. So,
AKA a community center or care center elderly folks can go to just for the day, and they'll be picked up and dropped off back home.
Yeah. So I like the term day service. I don't know. It kind of reminds me. So daycare is obviously for like little kids, right? Like a little preschool. You drop your kids off at daycare. And so there's also day service or day service.
Yeah.
And it's just for, the elderly. And like Frankie said, you just get you get dropped off by, whoever takes care of you at home, or I've seen a lot of like buses that come to like maybe your house specifically, and they pick you up, and then there's like a certain time they like bring you back home. Yeah. So it's for the day, to get you out of the house, and so you're not sitting at home and I don't know, being alone if you work. Or if you live at home with people who like work every day or something.
That sounds nice.
Yeah. So there's just, I'm not saying these don't exist in the U.S. as well, but these are kind of like the big care facilities or like methods of care for the elderly here in Japan.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll get into this more, but just my impression before we even get into this stuff is that there are more resources for elderly people in Japan, and I don't know if motivation is the right word, but like they're usually, a lot of people are so active. Like, I don't know, when you go trekking or hiking or something, there's always elderly people who are like out and like, they just look like they're having a great time. They're active. And I would just think how like my grandma was not active.
Yeah. So good that you bring that up. My next question, I was just going to ask, what was it like growing up with your grandmother, and like kind of I wanted to know what kind of lifestyle she had in terms of like after retirement. Was she pretty active or not?
No. So she, like over the years, she had a couple hip replacement surgeries. So, like her attitude was good, but as far as like being active, she wouldn't have been able to like go on long walks or hikes or anything like that.
You see. Do you know like, because you know how when you meet a lot of older people or like people who are reaching retirement age in the U.S., a big, I guess like mentality is like, I can't wait to retire because I'm going to do nothing. Or like people really look forward to retirement because that's your time to like relax and stuff. Yeah. So I'm kind of curious, was your grandma pretty like active before when she was younger, and then like once she hit retirement she was like, well, I'm good, like I'm not gonna do anything? Or was she just pretty chill? Like,
no, I don't think so. I think she was more chill. Like she had her like social circle, and then also enjoyed her time at home as well. But I just remembered I was in high school, I was a lifeguard for a summer.
Oh, okay.
At a retirement community.
That's cute. Okay.
Yeah. So actually some of the elderly people there were pretty active, and like did their laps like in the pool. There was like a 92-year-old woman who was like sporting a bikini and like she would do her laps all the time. So I was like, oh gosh, I want to be like her.
Exactly. Yeah. I think again, this isn't like all people in the US, of course. A lot of like factors play into it as well, but I feel like the overall what do you call it, like image in the US for retirement is like relaxation. Like you're kind of like exempt from like doing
Move
anything.
To Florida.
Yeah. Like my dad, I'm sorry if you're watching this, you're gonna like, I'm not saying you're old, but like technically he's retired now, and my brother just had a baby, so like he's a grandpa too, so he's like in this category almost. Sorry, Dad. But yeah, he's like officially retired, and before then my dad like woke up at 5 a.m. every day and like went to his job, and like the same job for like 30 years, 40 years, like took care of us, was very much like a worker, And then now that he's in retirement, every time I call him, I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, I don't know, I just woke up. And I'm like, what are your plans for the day? Like, what did you do recently? And he's like, I like saw my friends, and then I went to golf, and then my dad is still living in Hawaii, so he's like, and then I went to the beach, and I took my dog to the beach, and like walked around the beach and then went surfing and then I came home and I'll probably just go surfing again tomorrow. And so it's very much like he's active in that way, but yeah he's chilling, like, you know, and he is not worried about, I don't know, doing things like going to the gym or making time for a lot of like social stuff as before. So yeah, I was just kind of curious. But now to get into
what about your grandma?
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot I had a grandma. I'm just kidding. But my grandma, so I asked about Frankie's experience because my grandma kind of is more, you know, she's from Korea, so she really falls into that like active Asian category. And so growing up, my grandma was like, every day she woke up at the same time and she's like, okay, I'm gonna go for a walk. And she'd like walk around the neighborhood and then she'd eat her breakfast and then she'd watch TV and then she'd go garden. So she had a garden that she tends to. And then she was doing all kinds of activities like mahjong. She had a mahjong club she went to often. And then she did like line dancing on the side. And then yeah, like just always moving around and if she was at home, like sitting down for too long, she would just kind of stand because she was like, I can't sit. So, and she's like always getting on us too. Like to this day, she's 90 and she's like, I can't like, what does she say? Because we offer, you know, she lives alone, her choice, you know, and we always offer her like, why don't you go to like the day center, you know, where she lives now, and like why don't you get out of the house and like go see people. She's become a lot more antisocial, but she's like, no, because all they do is sit and watch TV there. She like doesn't like how they just sit and watch TV at the home. Yeah, she's like, and this is like because my grandma moved from Hawaii to Tennessee with my mom, and so you know, I think the activities they have are a lot different. And so they don't have mahjong or like, you know, gambling or anything like all the fun stuff my grandma likes to do. Just TV. So she's like, no. But yeah, so my grandma was like the super active example, similar to what I'm going to get into today.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I only brought like one super big example because I thought it was really interesting. But I saw on the news the other day about like a day service. So like we mentioned, you can just go for a day. And it's located in Aichi prefecture. Have you ever heard, it's okay if you haven't because I don't know why you're searching elderly homes, but have you ever heard of the Tanpopo Onsen day service in Ichinomiya city of Aichi?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Why is it special?
Oh, yeah. So when I first heard about this, I just saw it randomly on the news the other day. And it was so interesting to me. That's why I kind of brought it for today. And when I was doing research on it, there's a lot of coverage on it, actually. It's like a really famous like day center or day service in Japan.
Interesting.
Yeah, and let's find out why. Okay. So we'll link the article I found. It's in Japanese, so I Google translated some of it. The title is very long, but it is called A Nursing Home with a Casino, one of the largest in Japan with over 250 users per day. Even those who require nursing care can enjoy the joys of life by earning and spending money.
Wow.
The longest title ever. Yeah, it kind of just summarized the point. But I will have you read this first paragraph, I guess, to explain what this day service is.
Okay, so you can only pay with seed currency. It looks like monopoly money. In order to earn seeds to do various activities around the center, you have to do different rehab or exercises. So even entering the onsen earns you seeds, and earn seeds as a reward that you can spend on pachinko, coffee, snacks, mahjong, games, etc. In addition, you're not allowed to use any real money or exchange yen for seeds, so you have to be active.
Yes.
So the name Tanpopo is like dandelion.
Dandelion, yeah.
So I guess that explains the seeds?
Yeah. And
why their currency is called seeds.
Seeds, yeah. So I know I asked you before, you haven't played Animal Crossing before, but like, you know, the currency in Animal Crossing is called bells. So it just like reminded me of like, it's so fun to have different names for money. Like seeds is so cute to me.
Well, I like that you can't use actual money to buy seeds. You need to earn them.
Yeah, exactly. So no one can go in there and be like, here, trade my 1,000 yen for like, a million seeds or how, I'm not sure of like how they convert it over. But I assume they keep it the same. Like 100 yen is like 100 seeds or something because they don't want to make the elderly, you know, convert like currency in their head too. Yeah. So just from reading that first paragraph, any thoughts? Like, what did you think?
Well, it sounds fun.
Yeah. So I saw this on the news, and this place is huge. Like they said, there's like 250 people per day. And yeah, like just so there's an onsen attached to it too. And it was just so cool to see like, yeah, you can go in and there's like a little like hanbai corner, like a little snack corner, a shop you can buy all of your snacks. And then they just have a bunch of tables spread out in like the first floor, the lobby area, where everyone's like playing, like they're playing poker or mahjong, like all kinds of gambling games. And then there's different like things you can do. So another example I saw was so for the rehab exercises, they do have like machines and stuff, but for like, you know, the slower or you know, more yukkuri, like slowly active people, if they just like took a lap around the facility, like just walk one lap, it's like 100 seeds or something like that. Aww. Yeah, so there's like literally all kinds of opportunities for you to earn seeds, like you, no matter your level or your physical ability and stuff. Yeah, so I want to talk about the currency system if you want to read that one too, actually.
Okay. So each rehab exercise you complete earns you a different amount of seeds. For example, using the gym equipment earns you 1,000 seeds. Walking up a flight of stairs versus taking the elevator can earn you 100 seeds. And even tasks like helping the staff fold towels for the day center, you can earn 300 seeds. It's a great way to include everyone, no matter their physical ability. Even winning at pachinko earns you 100 seeds. It also costs seeds to play, though.
Yeah, you can read this one too.
Payment. After earning enough seeds to your liking, you can use them to splurge on different items or fun activities, gambling, games, etc. One coffee, for example, costs 500 seeds, and getting your nails done by a faculty staff member costs 3,000 seeds.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's basically the same as yen, but...
Yeah, I assume so. Like 500 seeds sounds like 500 yen, which is like a little expensive for a coffee, but like it makes sense. I assume it's like... not instant coffee, but like whatever they're making at the facility, right? And so yeah,
you can get your nails done too.
Yeah, there's a little picture. I found it in the sorry, we're looking at the article because there's a bunch of pictures I couldn't add in the notes, but like where is it?
Yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, we can put some of these pictures.
Yeah, on there. It's so cute. It's like a little.
Oh, that's really cute.
Right, it's like a little bachan, and no, you know, this place isn't like super glamorous to where they have, you know, nail technicians in there waiting to do everyone's nails. It's like a staff member. It's like a nurse like doing the nails.
Nice to be pampered.
Yeah, it's really cute. And so it just, I don't know. I really have a weak spot for old people. Like, and I know not old people are nice. I know there's not still a lot of people, like racist old people out there and like rude old people, you know, but I'm talking about
but there's
like,
nothing
nice
more
ones.
wholesome than like a nice friendly
like
grandpa or grandma.
And I think like, how can I explain this? Do you ever think about old people because you're like, oh, they're so cute or like whatever, but they're adults, you know? Like I kind of forget they're like grown adults, which sounds like messed up, but like
once you get past a certain age, you kind of revert to like being a little childish again.
Yeah. So it's something about like I'm not, you know, I didn't grow up in Japan, so I don't know. But like, for example, in the US, it's kind of like old people are really forgotten, I think, you know, after you reach a certain age, like it's really sad. But yeah, like I feel like you kind of just forgotten about or, you know, and so it's really like nice to see, especially when you look at these pictures, like how much fun everyone is having. Like it's really nice to like feel like you have an incentive again. Because again, if you work your whole life and then you're retired, truly, like, and your kids are grown up, if you had kids, what purpose do you have? But like, what more is there you can do, you know? And so
you need to find new stuff to do. Yeah.
And so on the topic of that, in the article I found, they interviewed the owner of this facility. And so he kind of said, you know, when you become older, you really don't like have the ability to manage your money anymore, like because you either have savings or you're just maybe mentally like you're you know you don't worry about like things like money management and earning an income and things like that. And so with this facility, he really wants, you know, his participants to, I guess, find that motivation again to like work for something and then feel that fulfillment of like earning something and then using your earnings to, you know, buy things that you want, like playing pachinko or mahjong or getting your nails done or just buying like snacks and stuff.
Yeah.
And so
I feel like that will keep the brain active.
Active as well. Yeah. So he
and
really,
the body.
yeah. And so that was his like main goal for this entire system was just, getting people to have motivation and purpose.
That's a nice idea.
It's
I like it.
so sweet. Like I saw this on the news and I was just like, I don't know, like I need to share it almost. I don't know why. Yeah, but then after researching, I was kind of curious, how is this paid for? You know, if
I was wondering that too.
Yeah.
But I thought maybe we'll get into it, and we are.
Yeah, we are. Yeah. So just to summarize it, I assume, again, I won't go into details, but I assume, you know, a lot of it is funded by taxpayer money and stuff like that. But also, you know, the day service goers, they still have to pay, you know, for the service if they are entering, right?
Okay.
With real money.
Is it like a membership or?
Oh, I'm not too. They didn't explain it in the article, like how they pay for it, if it's a membership or like
a day fee or
you
something?
just go for the day or something. Yeah. So they do still pay for, you know, like a fee for the day. And the fees for the Tanpopo Onsen day service vary depending on the level of care required.
Yep.
So for those requiring care, they have like different levels. So for example, level 1, the fees start from 1,293 yen per day, and that includes lunch as well. Yeah. Wow. So depending on your care, so let's say $10 or 1,200 yen, you get a lunch, and that covers your general care, you know, maybe any assistance.
That's nice.
Yeah. So it's, I mean, ideally, you know, anything like this, if it were free, would be perfect, right? But things cost money too, so it kind of makes sense that you would pay in a sense. But anything after that is free, essentially. You know, it just costs seeds, like, you know, so yeah. And looking at the seeds, I saw, like, don't they look so pretty? They're just like...
Okay, yeah, it does look like Monopoly money or some kind of like fake currency. It's not like literal seeds that they give them.
And you can tell they spent a lot of, I guess, like time making it. Like they manufacture these papers from somewhere.
Yeah, really pretty.
Yeah, like, and it says like 10,000 seed. Yeah. And there's like a hanko on it. It just looks like almost like real money, like the real yen bills.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it just, it's really nice to see everyone enjoying their time here. There's a lot of pictures of the participants like fanning themselves with all of their seeds they've owned too. Yeah, but anyway, I thought it was a great idea because, like I said, you have a sense of accomplishment and everything. And when I was doing research on it, there were multiple articles like covering this from a few years ago to even as recent as like the other month this year. And like I said, I just saw it on the news this year. But with fame comes competition.
Oh.
Yeah, and so...
Well, I guess maybe in a way that's good because not everybody can go to Aichi.
Exactly, yeah. So, I mean, I'm not saying like this can be the only, you know, day facility ever to like exist in that system.
But is it like exploitative competition? You know what I mean? Like,
oh, no, I don't.
Okay.
What do you mean?
I don't know. It's just capitalism.
Oh, I see. No, I don't think anything like that. I think they meant like other nursing homes want to, have, because I don't think there's like nursing homes in Aichi that are saying like, but come to my nursing home, you know, we can like do X, Y, and Z. Yeah. It's more so, like you said, facilities that are spread all over Japan. Yeah. They want to, I think, not steal or anything, more just like take inspiration, or they've seen it and they're like, they want to have, you know, very useful daycare facilities day service facilities as well. And so, for example, there are some homes or day services out there where they hold events like festivals within the city, and they invite like the local residents to come over. So, you know, the elderly can get interaction with all kinds of people maybe they haven't met before. Some facilities also distribute exercise videos via line that residents can do, at home. So they don't have to leave their home if they can't. And some homes also allow like pets to live there. So I think like through, not saying Tanpopo is like the main inspiration or like the only, healthcare facility out there that like does amazing things, in Japan.
But it seems like they're kind of the pioneers for this.
Yeah.
At least the idea of like earning stuff while you're there.
Yeah. I mean, especially if they're like on the news and have all of this like article coverage and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, would you like to do this day service? I know it's such a like future conversation, but like,
yeah, I mean, if it's still around in the future, I'll go.
I kind of want it for like me now, like for younger people.
Yeah.
Or like,
yeah.
I mean, for all ages, like I'll play mahjong with the old folk, like,
yeah.
Like, or I don't know, I think it'd be really sick if gyms had this system. Like, you want a protein shake? Okay, like do the Stairmaster for 20 minutes or something. Like, I don't know, I'm a big incentive, like reward kind of person.
Yeah.
Especially with like exercise mostly, but
yeah, no, it does sound fun.
Yeah. Do you think this kind of system, well, this is my fault. I should have seen if something like this exists in the US, but like, would you think this would be successful?
Maybe. Because I don't know, like retirement just sounds a little boring in some ways. Like as your grandma said, like people just like sitting around watching TV. At least that's my impression. Obviously not every single retired person just sits and watches TV all day. But yeah, I feel like it would be successful because it's just something to do.
Yeah, I wonder.
But I've never heard of anything like that in the US.
Right? Like I'm trying to think of like, I don't know. Maybe I've just like lived here too long and I've created a reverse bias against my own, people like Americans. I just can't imagine like a nursing home where you're like, okay, John, go take a lap around the facility and then you can like get a coffee. I can just totally imagine someone being like, yeah, I'm not doing that. Like,
give me my coffee.
Exactly. Or like, I'm paying you, like I pay for this. Like, I don't know. That's a big assumption, but like, you know?
But I don't know. You never know till you try.
Yeah. But I'm not against it at all. I would love to see something like this in the US as well. Like in every state or, because we'll get into it a bit. But like I was going to talk about why the attitude towards like aging is so different in Japan and stuff.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I also found another daycare service. Sorry, I keep saying daycare like they're children. It's a day service for adults. But I don't know how I started following this page on Instagram, but they post really creative videos of the kind of games they make for their residents. I think I follow them because I'm also a teacher, so I want to like make these kind of games for like students or like for younger kids. But this is called Asahi Garden Day Service Center, located in Sapporo City in Hokkaido. So again, more things outside of Aichi. This one is a lot cheaper. This one only costs 650 yen, and that's just for the lunch, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, so I assume it's funded a lot by taxpayer money and stuff. Yeah, but anyway, do you want to read from...
Okay, so this Instagram page that Cheyenne was talking about, so they post really creative videos about the games they make for their elderly participants using typical household items like tissue boxes, toilet paper rolls, and other cheap things you can find at Daiso like ping pong or cotton balls. Examples of games they've made: air hockey using tissue boxes, a pink ping pong ball and table, also using milk cartons as barriers
on the edge of the
table. To keep the ball from falling down every time. Ball in the hole. There are many white balls and only a few orange ones, so their goal is to move a cardboard box with the balls inside strategically to shift only the orange balls inside the hole. Bowling using bean bags, a table, and paper towel and toilet paper rolls.
I'm listening to Frankie's stomach just scream.
I don't think you can hear it on the mic,
but
my stomach keeps growling. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So the facility just seems really cute and creative, and they do a great job adapting all of the activities for patients, many of whom are wheelchair bound and cannot stand for long periods of time in general. So, okay. So I could see why you would take inspiration for like games for teaching as well.
Yeah, because I mean, for example, I can't have my kids bowl indoors, but I can have them like set up little paper towel rolls and not throw. What do you like? It's on a table, so they slide the beanbag like to the rolls and stuff like that. Yeah. Also, I realize like poor Frankie. A lot of the times when I prepare an episode and my notes, they're just so unorganized. And these are my thoughts, obviously. So when I look at it, I know how I want to say it, but then I'll ask Frankie like, please read this. And there's so many typos. Like I just saw how I typed patience.
Yeah, and I meant patience like being calm, not like patience at a facility.
I'm like reading over her shoulder like, oh God, I'm so sorry. So sorry to make your
I think
your editing
I got
job.
it eventually.
Sorry to make your editing job harder, like just to make you read that. Like also I typed ping pong ball as a pink pong ball.
Oh, I thought you meant pink ping pong ball.
No, it's just supposed to be ping pong ball.
Okay.
But I'll spell check next time. But sorry. A lot of it was just writing out my thoughts that I wanted to have you read, and that did not work out as well as I wanted. But so there's creative facilities out there everywhere in Japan. Other activities, Frankie mentioned that we often see is like a lot of hikers, a lot of people just going for walks around the neighborhood.
Yeah. You know what I also thought of? Rajiotaisou.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
They do, what does that come on at like 6:30 or something?
I don't know, like, early enough for old people.
Yeah, too early for me.
Yeah.
But I think like radio exercise. So I think you could tune into like on television or maybe on the radio. And it just tells you, like you follow along with it. Like we're going to do like arm circles or like whatever exercise. But in some places in the countryside, they blast rajiotaisou from the speakers.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Until, so I stayed at a place in Kochi Prefecture recently, and the owners of the guest house warned me. They're like, by the way, at 6:30, you're going to be woken up by rajiotaisou.
Oh, they knew.
And they said, I think it goes until like October 31st, and then from November 1st, they don't play it in the morning anymore. But from like the spring and the summer, they have rajiotaisou blasting every morning.
Did they say why not in the winter?
Maybe people
just no one wants to get up.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah, I thought they would shift the time like later or something, if anything.
Yeah, that's a good question. Why is it not later?
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's such an Inaka thing. Like I remember when I first lived in the countryside, they played every day at 5 p.m. It's that like go home song. I can't even remember what the melody is.
Yeah, I think it's different for every city, isn't it?
It
but around like 4:30 or 5 p.m. there's like an announcement that comes over the speakers all over the town that's like, hey, it's time to go home.
Yeah, and it just, I guess, signals the kids playing outside like, okay, it's like dinner time. Yeah, it's such a like, to have it still going today is insane.
Yeah,
like
it's such a Japan thing.
It's so Japan. And like, you have your parents where they're like, I played outside till the streetlights came on, or like, I didn't come home till the streetlights came on. That's like the Japanese version of that. It's like when that music plays, it's like everyone is running home, and it's so wholesome in a way. Yeah. But when I first got there, I was like, what is this? Like every day I was like, why do we go through this?
Warning me of something.
Yeah.
But also speaking of rajiotaisou, there was one time I went to like this place in Osaka that has like koi nobori, like the carp streamers.
Oh, yeah.
So they'll have those in May for Children's Day. So yeah, me and my partner, like we went there pretty early in the morning to, of course, film before a lot of people got there. So we were there around 6 a.m. And then we didn't know, but at like 6:30, all of the elderly people in the city like gathered around the river.
Oh my God.
Like it kind of felt like, I mean, they're not zombies, of course, but it felt like the moment in like a zombie movie when they all just start like swarming in. Like huge amounts of them. Yeah, so all of a sudden we were surrounded by people doing rajiotaisou.
That's nice.
For like 15, 20 minutes, and then...
Did you join?
No. But at first I was like, what's going on? Why is everyone gathered around us? Like, they're just exercising.
Yeah, and... on top of rajiotaisou, you can either tune in, like Frankie said, or they broadcast it. And one of my like work days off is a weekday. So I get to watch all the like, I don't know, bad weekday TV where like nothing interesting is on. But sometimes, early enough if I wake up, they'll have like exercise programs like for, I don't know, whoever's at home during that time. But it's really nice to see how they have different like versions of it. There's always like a normal version, like maybe you're standing up and doing squats or like doing arm circles. And then there's always like, what do you call it? Like a variation or like an assisted version. Okay. So like someone is like sitting a modified version, and someone is like maybe sitting in a chair doing the same exercise, but like if you were in a chair. And that kind of just like brought me back to how old people kind of really are forgotten, but I feel like they're really considered in Japan. Yes, because there's so many of them. So many, But like, I was like, well, that was kind of nice to see. Okay. But we talked a lot about post-retirement activities in Japan. And I think we briefly touched on it in the U.S., but like, what any other things that came to mind about retirement? Like, what do they do besides?
In the U.S. or here? Because I think here, another thing I just remembered is like a lot of people take up photography as a hobby when they retire.
Yeah, and it's always of like flowers or trees or something. Yeah. So true.
Because I mean, to get like good videos, a lot of times I go to places really early in the morning when there's no people. So there might be some, other photographers or something there. And like a lot of the elderly people that I meet during those times, they're like, oh yeah, it's just a hobby, whatever. And then they show me the pictures and they're like, amazing, incredible.
That's crazy. There was like one granny in Japan who got really like famous for that, right? Didn't she pick up photography as like a hobby post-retirement? And
I don't know.
Or not photography, but she got really good at like Photoshop or kind of just taking like
that's so cool.
fun, like trick photos. So like she would Photoshop herself like she was like wearing her coat and she was kind of doing like a pose where she's hanging from something and she photoshopped herself like hanging from the laundry wire, like as if she was outside hanging to dry and stuff. Like, she got really good at it. So it's always fun to see that. Yeah. But so my next question is like, why is it so different from, in our case, the US versus Japan? Like, why are people so active here? They do have a lot more, like, I guess, resources,
more resources.
But,
there's a lot more retired people here. The life expectancy is longer.
Yeah, that's true, huh?
Yeah, and I think maybe more so in, like, Asian cultures, like, the respect for the elderly is a lot more ingrained in you. I mean, not to say that, like, white people don't respect the elderly, but, like Confucianism and all that.
Yeah, I see. I think... on the topic of like culture too, multi-generational homes are really big in Asia or like in Asian cultures too. So I think it's so normal to just like, I don't know, hang out with your grandparents or like be raised by your grandparents at home and bring them along to everything. Like, my grandma did like everything with me basically, like took me to school and like she's just kind of there all the time. So another thing I kind of thought of was infrastructure, like in the US, just we talked about how there's no space to like walk like in your neighborhood.
That's true.
Like if you don't have a car, you really can't get to a lot of places, so you have to rely on someone to drive you or you're just kind of like stuck at home.
So I remember actually like when I first got my driver's license, like before you get your license in the US, you can get like a permit. So that's, I mean, depending on the state, but like I got my permit when I was 16, and so you have to have somebody like already a licensed driver like in the car with you for that year while you're learning. So my grandma used to like come with me to work.
Fun.
So like I could practice driving and stuff. And then eventually when she became unable to drive herself, like I would drop her off at the supermarket.
Okay.
And she'd be like, oh, come back in like 2 hours. And I'd be like, oh, that's a long time. Okay. I mean, but then by the time I would pick her up, like she would be like chatting with people and she'd be like, oh, this is my granddaughter I was telling you about. Like,
It's nice. That's, I guess, that is much needed social time for her too, right? She's not just there to like shop, right?
Yeah. But she wouldn't be able to get there if nobody drove her to like the supermarket and the doctors and stuff.
Yeah. That's like the one thing I feel really bad about for my grandma now. When we were back in Hawaii, it's very compact. So like we have a good bus system where you really don't need to drive in Hawaii, really. You can get anywhere by bus. And that's how my grandma would really get to places if she wasn't just walking there, you know? And now living in Tennessee, it's very wide, I don't know, big. And you really can't do a lot without a car.
Yeah.
And so we kind of have to schedule days where we like take my grandma out shopping and stuff. And it just, it feels a lot more like, I don't know, maybe she feels a lot more confined because she can't just like go out. But she lives in like a nice elderly like community. She lives in her own like house, but there's sidewalks and stuff. So she can like go outside and walk around and stuff still.
Okay.
But yeah, it is a lot different, I guess, like depending where you live and what kind of infrastructure you have. Yeah.
One of my good friends in the States, like she used to live in Japan, but she went back to the States. She's from the Philadelphia area as well, but her parents retired and then moved to like somewhere in Orlando, some retirement community.
Why do retired people always go to Florida? What is that about?
I don't know, just warm weather.
Oh,
is that like like tropical weather? I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're loving it.
Okay, good.
But she also said like her dad was kind of bored, so he's teaching at a high school now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's another big thing,
fun,
right? Like post-retirement jobs, just like stay active and do something. Yeah. I see. Florida, like Orlando.
But there's less pressure because like he's already retired, so if he hated it, he could just quit
or
Yeah, but he's having fun.
Yeah. Sometimes like, again, this is like my unnecessary soft spot for old people, but like, you know, if you ever see like people pushing well past retirement age, like working at a grocery store or something, or they're out working, and sometimes like my first instinct is to be like, why are you still working? Like you shouldn't work, like how poor you know? And then I have to remind myself.
Well, sometimes that is the case.
And sometimes that is the case, of course. You know, people just
more so in the States, I feel.
Yeah, like don't have the you know, not flexibility, but don't have the means to just
the retirement funds.
Stop working, which is another issue on its own. But sometimes you have to remember, like, no, they could just be doing this because they want to and they enjoy working, and you know, like
just want to get out and
work your whole life. Like people don't like sitting at home and stuff. And so of course it is up to the person.
It depends.
Stuff. Yeah, but to close this topic, I was going to ask if you have any off the top of your head, do you have any funny stories with the elderly in Japan? Sorry to put you on the spot. I have an example that I kind of wrote from the back of my memory for you.
For me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, though. Did you have, like, I wrote the Onsen granny.
Okay. Well, that was a miscommunication.
Okay.
So there was like a video project that I was doing, and one of the places that we had to shoot was at this onsen hotel. So I was told to go into the onsen like after it had closed to the public. So I would have like 20 minutes or so to film it with no people in there. But the hotel staff, they didn't communicate that to the cleaning lady.
Oh.
So by the time I got in the bath, like she was already annoyed that, because I went in like a few minutes before closing because I wanted to take a bath myself in there. So yeah, she was already annoyed that like I got in there so late. And then also at this place, tattoos are not allowed. But of course, because I was going in there with no people, like it wasn't an issue. And I think they also told me like if you film yourself like in the bath, like just do it at an angle where you can't see your tattoos, because tattoos are not allowed here. But yeah, this lady was not aware of that. Okay. So as soon as I like took off my clothes and then went to the shower area, technical difficulties. The camera died. But anyway, so I was like going to the shower area, and this was before I got my eye surgery. So without my like ICL vision correction surgery. So yeah, without my glasses, I couldn't see anything, but I could hear like the pitter-pattering of footsteps. Like the lady was chasing after me, and she was like, you can't have tattoos in here. Like you need to get out of here.
Oh, damn.
And then I was like, I'm so sorry. Like I'm here for a work shooting, and I was just going to use the bath quickly before like I shoot the onsen with no people. So I think after that, she called the front desk or something, and then they explained to her. So like after I was done and then went back out to go change and like put my clothes back on and stuff, she was like, did you enjoy the onsen?
Oh,
did
she,
you
like, had a
warm up?
total
Like,
attitude change.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was so, like, shocked, I guess. Yeah, like, I feel bad. Like, I don't want to be, like, breaking the rules or whatever, but, like, I had to shoot this place.
Yeah. But you're there just doing your job.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the hotel's fault for, like, not telling their staff about that. Okay. So it was, like, a good experience overall. Kind of not scary, but, like, could have turned out very differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I've had a lot of, that's like a rare thing. I've had a lot of good experiences with elderly people. And also, like, there was an elderly couple that I used to teach English to. Cute. Basically just, because they were both really good at English, so it was basically just, like, go chat with them, each of them for an hour. But, like, they were so cool and so, like, aware of world issues and stuff. And they would always ask about, like, current events and stuff that's, like, happening in the U.S. and stuff. So yeah, it was always really nice to talk to them.
Yeah, yeah. I love old people in Japan. Not the xenophobic ones or the aggressive ones or the shoulder-checking ones, of course. But yeah, I don't know. It's always nice to have conversation with, you know, people who are really interested in, like, where you're from or, like, just like to make small talk with you. I have a lady at the grocery store. She works there, and, like, she's always asking me, like, how's your day and stuff, which is really nice. And yeah, it's, I don't know. Again, I love them.
Yeah. Also, but speaking of, like, tattoos and onsens and stuff, like, I've had a lot of good experiences in onsens too. Like, there was one time, I'm not sure if I talked about this before, but in, like, somewhere in Oita Prefecture, I was using the bath and also didn't have my glasses on, so I couldn't see. But I felt like someone was staring at me. Then when I got back out into the changing room, like, there was an older lady who, just kind of, like, was looking at me. And I was like, oh, no, like, I hope the tattoos are not an issue or something. But she was just like, you're so pretty. Where are you from?
Cute. You're just there like, oh yeah,
thank you.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, but then she was asking, like, oh, and what are you doing out here in the middle of nowhere in Oita? Oh, I'm here for work, blah, blah, blah. So,
I love that. I always feel so validated when a Japanese person, like, especially an older Japanese person, like, compliments your tattoos or, like, just asks about them from a sense of, like, curiosity, not, like, you know, judgment or anything. Because I'm always like, oh, see, it's like, it shouldn't be a problem, like, to this day, you know? There's people who really care about it, of course, but no, I think, it is always nice. Awesome.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
Yeah. But to wrap it up, my last question, it's a stupid question.
Okay.
I was just going to ask, what kind of old person do you think you will turn out to be? Or, like, do you have this, like, I don't know, goal or image?
I would like to, like, garden and still do photography and videography and stuff. I mean, it would be nice if I could also go on hikes and treks, but we'll see how my body feels.
Yeah, right. I always, I used to be, like, super pessimistic when I was more like a teenager, early 20s, where I was like, if I'm, like, still alive by this age or whatever, please kill me. Yeah, I kind of used to be really like that.
That's what my stepdad is like.
Really? Like, still?
No, not so much anymore, because now he's, like, getting older, of course. But, like, in the past, he'd be like, oh, I don't want to be 50, 60. Like,
50, 60? That's so young still. I was talking about, I don't know, like 80 maybe. Yeah.
No, he was so dramatic. But now that he's there, he's fine.
Yeah, my grandma is, like, really because my grandma's going to be 90 this year. And she's so, you know, healthy and active for her age. But she's kind of reaching that negative, you know, cycle of her life.
She a little irritable?
She, like, irritable, or she's very much, like, not doubtful. Like, she's really more pessimistic about, like, her life expectancy recently. And, like, because I you know, live far away now, I can only visit maybe once a year, every couple years. And I always really try to be like, okay, like, you know, maybe I can come next year, or, like, let's do this in this, like, future time or whatever. And her responses are very, like, I don't know. I don't think I'll be alive by then, so we'll see. Like, she's very much like that. And I Japanese people are really into this too, like uranaishi or like uranai, like palm reading and like fortune telling.
Palm reading.
Yeah, and so my grandma is like really into that too because she's Korean. And
did somebody tell her life expectancy from her palm?
Yeah, and I'm like, her birthday is this Saturday, so I'm a little nervous because she was like, yeah, when I was younger, I went to a fortune teller and they told me I was gonna die by like this age, and so I don't expect anything after that. She's like really set on that age, and her birthday is this weekend, so. But I'm kind of like, oh no, like, I hope she's okay. So my grandma has always been very much a like, I don't know, like it is what it is kind of old lady. But like for someone who has that mentality, it works very hard to like be healthy and active and like really take care of ourselves. So I aspire to be not negative like that, but like to be active like she is. Yeah. But
yeah. I'm excited to get older.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And have you always been excited or kind of like, is it changed recently?
No, I think in my 20s because like we're so ingrained to like fear aging. Mm-hmm. But now that I'm in my 30s, I'm like,
it is what it is.
Life is good.
Yeah.
I want to keep living.
Mm-hmm. It's especially like, it's really hard. I'm starting to get like deep a little bit. It's really hard to see like your parents' age. That's like the most heartbreaking thing to me. But then like if you become a parent, like I look forward to seeing like my own kids grow up, if that makes sense. So it's like that's just the circle of life, not to get deep with it. But yeah, so I'm excited not to like I'm excited to get older. I was going to word it as not excited to be old, but
decrepit.
Yeah. I just meant I'm excited to live life. That's what it is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And if I could have a facility like this Tanpopo Onsen facility, then even better. Motivate me to do stuff.
Yep.
But I hope I'm just not like a grumpy old person. Like I hope I'm a chill old person,
Yeah, same.
Because some old people are just so mean.
Yeah.
So
please, I don't want to be like that.
Yeah. So I hope I'm just chill. That's all. But anyway, thank you for sticking around for this conversation about the elderly. That's all I had for today. But
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.
And we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye. Be old by then.